G'day guys, my name is Miles.
And my name is Fez.
And this is The Commodity.
And today we are looking at five disturbing unsolved mysteries from Australia.
This video is requested to us by Gricey. Thank you so much, Gricey. We truly appreciate it. Today starts a 4-day series of mysterious mysteries.
Really? A bit redundant there.
They're mysterious.
They're not just mysteries, they're mysterious mysteries.
Yeah. So after we did,
does that work? Mysterious?
I don't know. After we did the last mysterious video, we had quite a few suggestions of other unsolved mysteries or some other things. You'll see it over the next 3 days after today. So if you guys want to stay tuned on that, go ahead and click the like button and the subscribe button. That way you guys can stay informed on our future videos. Also click the bell. That way when we upload, you'll know immediately. And if you'd like to help support the channel even more and get an exclusive YouTube short shout out, click that join button down below. So this is my kind of stuff. I like mysteries. I like true crime. I like horror films. Obviously, we can't
like knowing everything that's
react to that.
Like really crappy movies. You're just like, I know what's going to happen.
Right.
Most outsiders see Australia as a beautiful country filled with...
Also, if you guys enjoy the original video, I'm going to include the link down below if you guys want to go check out that channel.
sunny beaches and incredible wildlife. But like every country around the world, Australia also has a dark past filled with disturbing events and horrifying crimes. I myself...
Before we get into this, I like the fact that everything's like really pretty and he's trying to be spooky about it.
He's like, there's killers and murderers and
it's super crazy here because
it's pretty
spooky and mysterious, but it's like a beautiful skyline.
Right.
Everything, not like a cloud in the sky. Everything is like just perfect.
live in the city of Melbourne, which has had its fair share of crime and tragedy. Recently, while watching the news, I was disturbed to hear that a bag of bones appearing to be human had been disposed of at a thrift store only 5 minutes from my house, which they're now investigating.
That is disturbing.
This not only made me feel extremely uneasy, but also made me wonder what other dark secrets lurk in my backyard. Today,
somebody donated some bones. I'm going to make a video.
Bones.
let's examine 5 of the creepiest unsolved mysteries from Australia.
Now this is where he should have done that intro.
Mysteries that are mysterious encounters.
FNAF.
Weird world.
That's what that looked like.
Number 5, Luna Park Ghost Train Fire. In June 1979, a family sat and waited for a ferry to take them to Luna Park, a well-known amusement park in Sydney. John and Jenny Godson had been looking forward to this occasion for some time and had wanted to treat their 2 young boys to an exciting outing. The family had just finished visiting Taronga Zoo, after which time they decided to proceed to Luna Park, where they had a ball trying out all of the various rides. Later on that evening, the family decided to enjoy one last ride with their 5 remaining tickets before returning home. The 2 sons wanted to try the ghost train, and so they made their way to the ride with their father while their mother ventured off on a short walk for ice cream. On making her way back, she would be confronted with her worst nightmare. Rather than being met with a husband and young children enjoying the ghost train, she was faced with billowing smoke coming from the ghost train while it was hurtling around the track, with the park staff attempting frantically to remove people each time it charged through the tunnel.
As a roller coaster is passing by, they're trying to pull people out. That's intense.
I'm just picturing... I hate wooden roller coasters. They beat you up so bad.
I love them. Like the Texas Giant.
There's one in San Antonio that used to be like the fastest one in the country or the world or the universe or something.
I think it's the Texas Giant now. Or it's either the fastest wooden roller coaster or the steepest. Something like that.
Yeah, I hate them. They're just uncomfortable.
Tragically, neither Jenny's husband nor children ever made it off alive.
Damn.
A long while after the tragic event, Jenny happened upon some photographs which had been taken on that life-shattering day, and one in particular transfixed her attention. The picture was of her son Damien, the last picture of him alive ever to be taken. Chillingly, however, is the figure that stands next to him, a harrowing figure adorned with a sinister-looking
That's
mask
creepy.
with horns protruding from its head. The man in the photo was never able to be located. Later, comparisons of the figure seem to suggest that it portrays a symbolic resemblance to the ancient demonic deity known as Moloch. Moloch is regarded in ancient religious teachings as an entity desiring the burning of children for sacrifice in his name. Does this finding suggest some kind of malicious tampering to bring about this catastrophe? As a sacrifice of human life to this ancient deity? Or was it, as many people believe, a deliberate act of arson resulting from a business dispute? Jenny Godson has always maintained that an evil force had been at work on that day. All the while, the mystery of the horned masked man's identity remains.
That is trippy that picture was taken and that just so happened to be like a resemblance to an entity that
is
known to burn children. To shed some light on this and make it a little more fun, if that's possible. He kind of looks like if you were to take away the front covering the chest and the face, he looks like the guy that was like big part of the insurrection.
Oh yeah,
that stormed the Capitol.
You know what's really messed up is I saw that guy. I was like, man, he looks cool.
Right, he looks like somebody I'd drink
guy
with.
You'd hang out with, like just party with. But then you're like, because he's the one that had like the podium.
Yeah,
so he's got this like super happy face and everything. I'm like, how could this guy be that bad? Like, why would he try to do something so stupid? But no, you're dead on. I see that. Like, ironically, you say that, but I see it perfectly.
No, but to get back to the story, that is super trippy. And I mean, if I was in her situation, I don't know how I would handle it. I would try and find some reasoning or something to blame it on. And this is something I would attach to it. So
that's got to be tough. Like,
I mean, I wouldn't fully attach the story to this, but it would be a thought in the back of my head. Like, what if a demon was to blame for this?
See, I don't think I'd let myself go to that level because then it's hard to, I don't know what I'm trying to say, but it's hard to
accept
something that is mythical to that level for me.
Right. Unless you believe in like
right, if you believe in
God and
like
the devil and demons
but I don't. Man, that makes it so hard. It's tough because my brain thinks of statistics over everything.
Oh, mine does too. And
so I would instantly go with odds of that being plausible,
right?
Which is not.
Right.
The most common thing is error on the ride.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't let my brain get to that. Now, does it help that some crazy dude was wearing a mask? No. So my thing would be, what did he do to the ride?
Right.
More than anything.
All right, let's check out this next one.
Number 4, disappearance of Rhianna Barreau. In October 1992, Rhianna Barreau, aged 12 years old, had been planning to walk to the nearby mall in South Australia to buy a card for her pen pal in the United States. Usually she would have taken the bus, but on this occasion there was a strike and Rhianna didn't want to wait. Her mother agreed to let her go to the mall and wished her goodbye before heading off to work. Rhianna was witnessed by people walking along Highway Drive shortly before lunchtime. This is the last time she would be seen by anyone. When Rhianna's mother returned home that afternoon, she found the card for her daughter's pen pal lying on the table in the dining area.
So she made it home.
And a record resting on the ground. The TV was blasting in one of the rooms. When she called Rhianna's name, she received no reply. urging Ms. Barreau to start looking for her.
I'm trying not to laugh. This guy's voice is so positive.
I love it.
No, like I see where he's trying to get like the deep, dark stuff, but it comes off super, super. Like I hear Australia so deep in his voice that he's like more like a good day, guys.
Right.
How you doing? As opposed to the deep and mysterious voice. But here, I'm gonna back it up a little bit because I'm really trying not to like laugh. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying it's funny because he sounds so positive, like and trying to be dark. So.
Right.
She received no reply, urging Ms. Barreau to start looking for her. She first checked the inside of the house, then the outside, but there was no sign of her. She then went to the neighbours asking them if they had seen Rhianna at all throughout the day. None of them had. The police were contacted, but Rhianna would never be found or heard from again, and her fate remains unknown to this day. In 2015, an attempt to shed light on this 2-decade-old cold case was made when police offered up to $1 million reward
Wow.
for anyone able to provide reliable information concerning Rhianna Barreau's disappearance. However, nothing would come from this either. All of these years later, Ms. Barreau continues to live in the same house in the hope that her daughter may one day return, or at least to provide some semblance of closure. Number 3.
So it's crazy how, I mean, supposedly she fulfilled what she was going to do to get the card,
Right.
and there was a record. They didn't explain what the record was.
Right.
So either she did that and put it there, or her kidnapper or whoever, or maybe she ran off with somebody. They put it there. But like, if the mother is still staying at the home
Just
in hopes that she's coming back, then there probably wasn't any like prior thoughts of her running away.
right. So I don't think she's obviously ran away.
Right.
It sounds like she got permission to go, first of all. So it's not like she did that as a child trying to be rebellious.
Yeah, no, she got permission to go get the card and the record, I guess. The mother said she didn't want to go.
Realistically,
So.
I mean, I've heard stories. There's been stories here in the U.S. where people have kidnapped somebody and just kind of kept them locked up or whatever.
Yeah.
For decades, and then they're found out of nowhere. It sucks, but I feel like sometimes closure, especially this long into it, you're not going to get any. So I think that, and I
Like you said, decades. I mean, it could be.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But for me, I don't know if I could dwell on that because my anxiety, and then also that creates depression and just dwelling on it. And then you live in this house. So I have an aunt that both of my cousins passed. And so what they had to do, obviously that she wasn't waiting. She knew there was no closure behind that. But they had to sell the house to move on. Like she was never going to move on with it living in the same house. So in this situation, is closure more important than moving on?
In this situation for me, I don't think I could leave the house and move on because of the fact, what if my child does come back into...
But there's enough information out there.
But what I'm saying is, at that point, my kid could be like, you just forgot about me.
But that's not
You
forgetting.
moved on.
But I don't know. Let us know down in the comments. What would you do? Would you want the closure? I mean, obviously you want the closure. But at the point to where, how long ago did they say that one was?
1990 something, I think.
Okay. So you're 30 years, is that 30 years? Roughly 30 years of not getting closure. Do you dwell on it, stay in your house, or do you move out and try to go on with your life? Obviously, neither way is going to probably create closure for yourself or really be able to move on. But is living in the same house where your child used to live, I'm assuming she probably never even changed her bedroom.
Right.
So you're walking by that bedroom every single day. And I feel like so many people know the situation that if she did come back, you would find out.
Right. I don't know how I would handle it. I would never want to know how I would have to handle that situation.
Oh, absolutely not. And I know I could never get over it.
Yeah.
But my attempt to try to find just acceptance beyond it would be just my goal in life. Just to just trying to move on.
All right, let's check out this next one.
All right.
The Cruel.
Mr. Cruel.
In 1988 and 1990, Sharon Wells, aged 10, and Nicola Linus, aged 13, were respectively kidnapped from their homes. After 18 hours being held captive, Sharon was let go, and after 50 hours, so was Nicola. The descriptions given by the two girls promptly led the police to believe that the same individual had been behind a whole string of other abductions and acts of violence on many other girls and boys within the suburbs of Hampton and Lower Plenty near Melbourne, Victoria. The perpetrator was dubbed Mr. Cruel and was also suspected by the Victoria Police to have been responsible for a house intrusion in Templestowe in 1991 in which a young girl by the name of Carmaine Chan, also aged 13, had been abducted. Unfortunately, however, she wouldn't survive the ordeal and would be murdered by Mr. Cruel in a brutal shooting. Her remains would not be found until a full year after her abduction. Due to the limited evidence in Carmaine's case, police have been unable to substantiate their suspicions that Mr. Cruel had perpetrated the murder, but he is considered to be the primary suspect. In 2013, Victoria Police were still refining a list of over 20 suspects. Each suspect had been revisited in their homes. 2 years before the disappearance of another girl called Sarah Horn Siraboon whilst walking to school in Baronia, she is still missing. A key suspect named Robert Keith Knight would commit suicide in 2013 before facing charges of possessing child pornography. However, the complete absence of any DNA or other forensic trace evidence have made any attempt to identify Mr. Cruel impossible. Number 2, Rackman.
So that one's trippy just in a sense that they didn't find anything and that person could still be out there.
I don't fully understand the guy at the end. Like, I get it. He's a piece of shit. But what does his connection have to do with anything?
Well, he was a suspect.
A person of interest.
He was a person of interest, and he just happened to commit suicide.
Yeah, and he was a pedophile.
Whenever the last person was kidnapped. So, and that person was never found.
I think, obviously, if he's a person of interest, that's one thing. But, I mean, he could probably have a video all on himself, just being a piece of shit.
Yeah, I mean, if he's got child pornography and is into that, then he deserved to be tortured instead of given the option of suicide.
Sit in freaking prison for the rest of his life.
Tortured.
Become somebody's bitch and
tortured.
Well, I mean that. So I mean, I think that being in prison, and I've always heard the story that
if you go to prison for
child molestation of some
then
sort,
you'll get
your
karma's coming back.
Even in prison, you're still considered the worst.
Yeah.
So,
all right, let's check out number 2.
On August the 11th,
I don't know how true that is, though.
Mark Peterson, a fisherman, took off on his boat and slowly made his way up the Hawkesbury River, located a short distance north of Sydney. It looked to be a pleasant day, and after feeling a firm tug on his fishing net, Mark became excited. However, when he pulled his net up and out of the water, it held a heavy chunk of steel, shaped into a crucifix. Bound to it were what looked like human remains.
Wow.
Stunned, Peterson promptly called...
He looks real stunned.
Did he say that he reeled it up?
Yeah. It'd be heavy. He had a strong line.
The police, who upon examining the remains, confirmed that they were indeed human. Forensic pathologists determined that the remains were those of a male between the ages of 21 and 41, and that the bones had been
21 and 41.
That's so vague. They're between the...
I mean, it was a few years ago.
It was a mammal, or a reptile. We're not sure.
Arranged anatomically on the crucifix. The entire body of the victim, including his head, had been wrapped in plastic and had wire twisted around it.
That's
the
crazy.
identity of the man is still yet to be determined, in part due to his fingerprints having badly decomposed. The unknown man was given the nickname Rackman. Police are continuing to investigate several leads, one of which comes from the public and claims that the Rackman could be Joe Biviano, a known drug dealer who had disappeared in Des Moines in 1993. The theories suggested the remains could also belong to a Greek businessman called Joe Matrice, who went missing on the mean streets of King's Cross in April 1991. Or even a well-known hitman by the name of Christopher Dale Flannery, who disappeared May 1985. However, the men's dental records were not a match. The police still hope to match the man's DNA from his remains, which are held in the morgue. Number 1.
So that's creepy in a sense that, like, you're just trying to have a good day and go fishing, and you reeled up a cross with somebody attached to it.
Yeah, but I feel like that was like some type. Like, I think they hit it on the. He hit it. I don't know if anybody else was thinking the same thing. I think it was probably gang related, or maybe not necessarily gang.
But that's such an odd message to convey.
I mean, we used
as
to.
a gang.
I mean, in America, they used to do, tie a rock, put a thing.
Not tie you with wire to a cross.
We've done that in our history as well.
Correct.
And probably not that long ago.
With symbolism, false symbolism, but symbolism behind it.
Bullshit behind it, yeah.
Like there was a message to be conveyed in their mind.
Right. But if you are part of a gang or you're a thug, and I'm talking about like old school style gangs like Mafia or whatever, or in like Mexicans would be like a cartel. So if one of these guys crossed the line with another drug dealer or gang or boss member or whatever,
That just so happened to be a Christian gladiator.
Don't get me wrong. I'm going very movie hard on this. Like you're gonna be sleeping with the fishes. You know what I'm saying? So that's where my mind goes with this, because if there was a message to be put out.
Oh, 100%. That was a message. It's just an odd message for a gang or a drug
Maybe they're
dealer.
very Catholic.
Unless it was just some gladiator taking on the negative impacts of people.
Of course, they're
the
between
Pajama
1 and
Girl.
500 years old.
In
The Pajama Girl.
1934, a farmer, after having just bought a prize...
1934?
In
Holy
1934,
shit.
a farmer, after having just bought a prize bull, was walking home with it a few kilometres from Albury, on the border between New South Wales and Victoria, when a large object in a stormwater pipe caught his eye. Upon investigation, he realised it was a young woman's body, who looked to have been beaten, shot, and burned.
Yeah.
She wore yellow pajamas and a towel wrapped around her head. Due to the inability of the police to identify the victim, her body underwent chemical preservation and was made available for display. It would be another 10 years before investigators determined the identity of the murder victim to be Linda Agostini.
I love those
an
old
initial
school
analysis
hairstyles.
of
I know
dental
that's way
records
off topic.
had come back negative, a follow-up attempt a decade later was able to confirm her identity. Not long after news of this had been announced, Linda's husband confessed to the murder, pleading self-defense, and was sentenced to 10 years in jail.
That's enough.
Nevertheless, there remains a distinct possibility that the woman in the yellow pajamas and Linda Agostini weren't in fact the same person at all.
Okay, so we've got a confession. We do have a female that was killed, and
Which
then we have a
they-
body. No, we have a body. We have a confession to killing a female that matches physically the body, and there's still a conspiracy on it. If you're in on this conspiracy or this mystery, explain yourself in the comments. I'd love to know.
In his book titled The Pajama Girl Mystery, Richard Evans claims that the two women did not share the same eye colour, breast size, or nose shape.
Okay.
A play was even written about the murder called The Pajama Girl, which incorporated these same claims. If this is indeed true, then the identity of the woman in the yellow pajamas, as well as the fate of Linda Agostini, will continue to remain a mystery.
So why did he confess then?
Well, I don't know how to explain this, but I know that people will confess if they are kind of put up to it by even cops. Mm-hmm. People have confessed to things that they've never done before, and they just feel
they're coerced into confessing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so it's a BS confession. Was his? I don't know. Probably not. It sounds like he confessed to one of the murders. Mm-hmm. However, the other one could be nothing to do with him.
Right. Completely unrelated.
So that one, yeah. Let us know in the comments if you have an opinion on that. I definitely don't, because I feel like this one was very, very surface.
Well, it was 100 years ago.
That's fair too. So we have very, very little information. I mean, realistically, we should have a ton of information on this one.
Right.
I mean, to be just like over in England, what is his name? The mass murderer from England that nobody could ever figure out.
Yeah. Damn. Why you? This is my genre too.
I know. He's got like a really cool name on top of that.
I know.
The Jack the Ripper.
Oh yeah.
I didn't even look to see how long ago that was. Jack the Ripper. 1888. So late 1800s. So realistically, not far from this one.
Right.
I'll cut out a lot of stuff. But the 1800s.
Well, 50 years from this one.
Yeah, realistic. But I mean, that one's also really interesting because nobody has any clue. Mm-hmm. So same concept for this. I mean, but that's just about any unsolved murder cases that you're just like, it's super interesting. I mean, how many people did that person actually wind up killing if he never got caught? Or how many people have been caught that haven't been tried for another murder?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But either way, this was really interesting. Some were much more interesting than others, but at the same time, I kind of really enjoyed it.
Yeah, no, I did too. And the next 3 videos aren't going to be as long as this one. So again, if you guys are into this kind of stuff, we've got 3 more coming out over the next 3 days. So if you guys want to check out those mysteries and unsolved things that are mysterious, stay tuned. Click that. Yeah.
Guys, I hope y'all enjoyed this video. If you did, do not steal my words.
That's why I stopped.
Yeah. Guys, I hope y'all enjoyed this video. And if y'all did, please hit the like button. If y'all want to see our future videos, hit the subscribe button and the bell notification. And if you want to support us directly, hit that join button. And with that being said,
my name's Miles.
And my name is Fez.
Thanks for watching, guys.
Peace
out.